He's so patient with us,
With
so
us.
patient with the three of us and then the 20 other.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah,
Hey, welcome to the Welcome to the Middle of Podcast. This is a podcast about the journey of life, the ups and downs, and everything in between. I am your host, Makomborero Kadzianike, and this is another episode of Middle of Podcast. This should be episode 5
Which is late.
of the relationship. Don't tell. Okay, the relationship series, and it is. I am sorry for the delay, but I made sure we got a great guest for this episode. We're going to be talking about a number of different things, mostly about, again, like I said, relationship, but this is a different kind of relationship, and you'll see when we start, right? But please do make sure to follow the Middle of Podcast on Instagram at TMiddleO Podcast, on Facebook as well. If you want to follow me, it's at Mako_Cads. On Instagram, and please just do make sure to leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe,
Everything.
Share with your friends, your aunts, your cats, your dogs, your neighbors, everyone. And yeah, so I'm excited to bring you today's guest. Today's guest.
I said I shouldn't move my hands.
No, it's impossible. It's actually impossible. So, please introduce yourself, ma'am.
It depends who you're talking to, right? So technically, to Makomborero, I'm mining Vicky's friend. To the Bridge Youth, I'm Auntie Kudzai. To my kids, I'm mom, but technically, I'm just Kudzai Kambasha.
Hello, Kudzai.
I know, right?
Wow.
Right, Kudzai.
So for context, I have known. So you'll see that
Kambasha,
I address her in the 3 names. I call her either Auntie Kudzai because she is my Nini's best friend.
Shout out to Vicky.
Yeah, my Nini Vicky. So my Nini, for those of you who may not be don't really know what the term means. It means like little mom. So she's my mom's youngest sister, therefore little mom. But she's my aunt, if you want to say it in English. And so they've been friends since before I was born. And so she's known me since I was born. But I think today we're going to be talking a bit about like the evolution of like this particular relationship in going from my Nini's friend is who you were. You were just Auntie Kudzai. Oh, how's Auntie Kudzai? Auntie Kudzai, the one with lots of energy.
My Mako!
That's how she greeted my mom every single time.
I like people. I like your mom.
I know. I like my mom too. You don't see me going,
My Mako! Good morning!
And like how that's gone from like that relationship to becoming, you know,
Mako!
Yeah, but I don't just call you Kudzai unless something is wrong. Most of the time, that's when I'll be like Kudzai.
I'm like,
Kudzai. And then she knows, so she hears Kudzai, she always goes, what's wrong? And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, nothing. She goes, so why'd you call me Kudzai? And then, or I call her Kambasha most of the time. That way, I avoid calling her by her first name. But yeah, I think. First of all, how has it been for you going from Vicky's mining Vicky? Mining Vicky's.
So much trouble.
How has it felt for you going from mining Vicky's nephew to Marco?
Actually, do you know what? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. You'd think that would have some form of power differential, right? But I think we just kind of eased into it, right? From the time we were at camp, and we're like, okay, we're
all thrown into the deep end.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Although my husband says it's because I'm immature. But It actually wasn't. It wasn't actually weird at all for me. Was it weird for you?
No, I think the thing for me was very interesting because it was always Auntie Kudzi, Auntie Kudzi, Auntie Kudzi. And then you're like, oh, so working together. And then it's like, oh, so others just call her Kudzai. I thought Kudzai was a surname. I thought Auntie was the first name.
Oh my god! Gosh.
I'm joking. No, but I think it's definitely been quite interesting changing over, like I said, from just Auntie Kudzi to Kudzai and seeing how it's easy. I think the interesting thing for me is I have grown to see that it's easy to make friends with people who are older than you. I actually think I find it easier to make friends with people who are older than younger.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously not for you.
Other way around.
Like maybe more so shed light on that. Like, how has that been the process for you? Because I know I'm not your only friend.
No.
Who is as young as I am.
So this is my first experience going backwards, right? So I remember it. So I was thinking about this. I was like, never in my lifetime, like 2-3 years ago, would you have said, like, two of my top best friends are like 25 years old, right? So I did not think, I did not go looking for it. But I think it's a testament about how, like, first, probably how mature you are. Or how immature I am.
Maybe we meet each other in the middle.
Exactly. Or how, when you're then united by a common cause, right? It transcends age and background and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So so for background, we work with the youth together. That's what threw us together, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm coming in, everyone's kind of bringing in their own experiences, their past, and the age thing actually worked really well because when I'm tired, right, Marco is like, let's go. And then when he's a bit too much, I'm like, Chimbotzo.
Relax.
Yeah, relax. But I think until, that time when we were sitting in church and my Ranga was preaching, and then she said, oh, I also have friends who are younger than me, and then I sent you that text. It happens to everybody, so we can now be friends.
It's like we can officially be friends.
We can be officially friends because it doesn't make sense to everybody. Like my friends would actually call me and like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm hanging out with Marco and Matt or something like that," and then they'll be like, "Those kids." I'm like, "Oh snap, yeah." The way
they're great though.
Yeah, they're great people, but. I actually didn't think about it too much and stuff, and we just kind of flowed, right?
We did.
So that was cool.
Okay.
I don't make you old, you make me young. I wear ripped jeans and sneakers.
For context, now she wears Air Forces.
I do.
White Air Forces.
Tell them about my language.
Yeah. Now she says things like dope.
No, whiling and
whiling.
Mal, that's Mal.
That's Mal.
Yeah.
That's Mal. Oh, you're Big Mal. Relax, you're Big Mal. I was like, what? Drip. Oh. We're saying things like drip now. I don't know. Hey.
It's crazy. That's probably the only struggle, the language. I'm like, okay, please say what you just said in normal English. I don't understand what you just said.
Lord.
Anyway.
But I think it's also interesting because for a lot of people, I think there can be an intimidation to make what maybe okay. Let me say this. We'll start off with what are your benefits of having friendships with people who are younger, and then I'll share about having friendships with people who are older. Because I think sometimes it's easy to say, I'm gonna have friends who are the same age as me because we understand the same thing, we think the same way, therefore that works. What for you is it like where you're like, oh, friends who are young and friends who are older?
Okay. So I think
for maybe younger. Yeah.
I think the friends who are younger, you guys are just fun though. You legit you just like a vibe. You don't take things too seriously, too much. I mean, we're not talking about the economy or boss.
But we do talk those
but
things.
We do. But it's like it's the
not all the time.
No, yeah, not all the time. Or namotsedu or school fees or whatever. Like if I just want to just chill and just breathe, you guys are really cool. But also, you guys come with an energy too. You're not tired and you're not jaded, and especially like your friend group and stuff like that. You guys are very. This is what we're doing. You're not compromised in a way. So I end up like learning a lot of things from you guys. I'm like, oh, okay, do you know what? If I had thought like that when I was 25, I would have made certain decisions differently, and it's the energy, it's the different perspective, it's the understand. It helps me understand as well the bridge better, because I could easily go into the bridge
being the youth
the youth group, the 130 kids we shared together.
We love you guys.
But so it's so easy for me to walk into the bridge and be like, don't do this, nah. But I've had many times when you just are like, Kambasha, relax.
Yeah.
Or no, this is what they mean, this is what's going on, and you explain the culture to me. So I feel more well-rounded with you guys around in my life. Thank you for making me well-rounded. I think when it's BP, my blood pressure goes down.
Your tablets to be taken.
I don't need the tablets.
I've got Marco and
Let me call Marco at like 10 at night.
I think you and Koda are now beginning to abuse me. I'm just saying. This morning, they called me at like 6:45.
I said to him, it's too early.
Just so you know, today we're recording on a Saturday. I was like, and I was like, so I thought I was still dreaming. And I'm like, so I look, I'm like, I wonder what's wrong. Can she not make the recording? But it was your husband. Why am I not on the podcast? I was like,
Because it's not as I am cooler than him.
I'm not getting in between my.
But shout out to Kambasha, because he was my first young friend. Because there's like a year younger than.
I don't know if that counts.
That's a whole other podcast. And you, what's your advantage of having?
I think the dope thing about having like friends. I mean, you're not the only one. I've got like a couple people who are.
You're cheating on me.
Well, not trying to be. This is Harare. I'm joking.
Anyway, no, that is
we don't condone.
No.
Never condone. No, Harare is a nice place. We don't condone anything. In fact, dates in men in Harare, men and women as well.
Shout out to Harare.
Men and women. Shout out to Harare. One time for Harare. Yeah. But my whole point is... You're not going to get
anything done. Okay, yes.
I think the dope thing about having friends who are older is that I think there's like a maturity, but not like there's a difference between being bored and being mature. Those are two different things.
Explain.
I think the maturity comes in the fact that like you get to see life 10 years ahead of you before you get there.
That's point.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so for example, the Mabikas, I'm like, like getting married and having children, great. I mean, I still want all those things.
Yeah.
But then you play like with the 3 children for like 10 minutes. You're like, yo,
take your kids.
Yo. That's
say something more.
I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
So for me, that's like, but again, you then appreciate the parenthood side of things as well and other things as well. So you get to experience certain things before you get there, but also they're able to tell you that like, yo, like I did 1, 2, 3. Even if you're not in the same field or you don't see life exactly the same, you're able to learn certain things from them and from you, and Kuda and whoever, and getting advice and experience. So for example, I'm very much entrepreneurial in my thinking. I think I tend to think strategically as well, with the like a creative elements as well.
He's so much fun in meetings.
Maybe too much fun. But my mind is always thinking, and always I would like to believe that I've got I don't know if it's a problem or not, but I tend to think 4, 5 steps ahead. I tend to think like into the future. And a lot of people have to be like, look now as well. And I'm like, oh right.
We'll put it in the car park. We'll come back to it 5 years from now.
And I think it's a benefit for any relationship, I think, in terms of being able to think ahead, but also having people who can think now as well. Because if you're surrounded by people who are thinking, I think the habit that a lot of young people we tend to have is we like to think a lot about 2 years from now, 3 years from now. We like to think what's going to happen then. And a lot of people who are about 10 years older will then be like, think about now.
Yeah.
Think about like tomorrow because you're living now.
Yeah.
And I remember being at church in SA. I'd gone to Manini Vicky's church and we're praying again. And I remember we're praying and all of this. And then church finished and I just went to like one of the pastors for prayer, and he was praying over me, and he says, I just really feel like you need to live more in now. You tend to look into the future a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I heard him, and I was like, then I sat and I was like, that's very true. And I found that like with friendships or people that I relate well with who are older. Shout out Rudy.
Yeah. Rudy's cool.
Rudy's great. I actually saw him on my way here
Is it?
on Harare Drive.
Should have just brought him.
So I think he was visiting someone. But it's people like that who help you think about the now as well. So like I said, the entrepreneurial journey, it's easy to think 5, 4, 6, 7 steps ahead. It's like, okay, fine, the things you can do now. So for example, we've had discussions around that. And now having the job that I have now, because I'm in corporate and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
We're so excited about that. I don't know. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, but I think the great thing about that is that also helped me to understand that, okay, you can do this while doing this, or you can do corporate while you learn about business and all these different things.
It's not selling out.
Yeah, and it's not selling.
You're so scared. I was like, no, dude, you are 25. You've got the energy to do everything. I mean, you can be doing the podcast, you can be on your Insta, you can be and I like that whole. The thing I like about you, like I like watching you work, right? You give me energy to you give me you're gutsy, right? So it's like, okay, so sometimes I'm like, okay, just do it, just go for it, right? What do you lose? But also I like seeing you grow, and because sometimes you'll be like, I don't know if I should do this or whatever. I'm like, no, do it. Because if you do this, because I've lived it out, right? If you do this, this is what happens. So join the organization. It's a good organization, and it opens doors, and you can then your networks, and then it will feed into your whole life. So I guess that's also the nice thing.
I think that's also something quite interesting, being able to see how someone who's older than you is also affected by you.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. So, for example, I think us being friends actually helped both of us grow.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's quite interesting. So, for example, in different areas and aspects, right? So, in relating with other people in different walks, so for example, how I socialize with people has been a bit different now. But even things like you walk with God, you walk with this, you walk with that. So, it's always interesting when you're like, oh, look at you, Kudzai. Look at you.
Grown. I'm like, I'm 39. Of course I'm grown. Like, I can't say it.
No, but I'm just laughing. Like, those are the kind of things where it's like, okay, it's interesting to see how you impact each other and you feed off of each other, but like in a positive way. And it's very interesting to also be able to be like, Kudzai, you're wilding out.
Yeah.
You're actually so weird. Out.
I'm like,
and
what?
It's like, and it's the guy whose diapers you probably changed at some point. He's always telling Urgufari.
Yeah, like the time when you called and you're like, I feel your heart is not in the right place.
I remember. So there was a situation that took place, right? And I think the best friendships are ones where you can chastise each other, like in a manner which is to grow each other.
Yeah.
Right? So they always say, there's a saying that we say at work where we say, praise in public. I forgot that the P, but essentially chastise in private.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you praise in public where people are, but you should be able to bring someone aside and be like, hey, you did something wrong, right? And with that being said, it's very interesting for me because there was a situation that took place, and I called her and I was like,
your heart is not in the right
your heart is in the wrong place.
Your heart
is not in the right place.
This is like again 10 at night.
Yeah, it was like 9, 10, 9:30, quarter to 10. On a weekday, she's got 2 children who are also active, and she's put them to bed. And Marco tried to call. She's like, I'm putting the kids to sleep. I'll call you afterwards. Then she didn't call you back, and I called her again at quarter to 9, 10, and I was like, yo. And she goes, oh, sorry, yeah,
What's
I was
up?
like, okay, let's talk. I was like, I feel like your heart's not in the right place. And her response was, oh! That was the response. What do you mean? And I went on to explain. She goes, no. And I was like, no, Kudzai. No. Then we spoke, and she was defending herself. And I was like, listen, I hear you. Just go think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you think. Go think. And she goes, I don't want to. And I was like, no, it's fine. All I'm saying is think about it. She's like, I'll think about it, but I don't want to change. I was like, it's okay. Just go think about it, right? Then a week later,
you were right.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think that was my biggest. I don't want to say challenge, right? But I had to see past you as Marco, Vicky's whatever, right? And then I had we were actually peers and colleagues and friends. And for you to call me out, like, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough because generally I'm not a person who takes rebuke well.
Yeah.
But then for it to come from you, I was like,
Of all the people.
about spiritual things. Don't you tell me what my heart is about. But I actually sat in that. And God was really great to be like, Chimbonyarara, and sit in it. And he showed, and I was like, okay, fine.
And look, the matter worked out great.
It
Because it actually worked out. The reason why we're like,
always,
for the good of those.
Hey, 130 kids.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yay.
But yeah. And shout out
Love
for you
you.
being courageous though, to actually
Yeah.
to actually approach me and say.
I think that's
Yeah.
the dope thing is it's also good to be able to have a situation where it's not age related only. I think especially if you've grown up in Zimbabwe, doesn't matter which school you went to, be it government, private, mission, whatever it is, there's a lot of age related barriers in Zim in general 100%. And in our community and our culture where it's Minina Matauri. So essentially, because you are Minini's best friends, you are Minini.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if Minini is not around, you are Minini. Yes, you sometimes forget. But, you are Minini.
Yeah.
And for example, my aunt has lived outside of Zim for the longest time, right? Shout out to her again. So she's there. I see her typically on the holidays. When she comes back, talk on the phone. But also, it's like, okay, then, you step in certain areas and situations where I'm like, I would have asked my Nini this. I still would, but also, like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to talk to someone, like,
because,
now.
Like, she's, like, 12 hours behind or ahead or whatever.
So it's like, I've got a great, replacement in that regard. Oh, look at you, look like you're going to cry.
I am. Because, like, it's another thing where it's like, okay, what are we talking about now, right? We're talking, okay, he requires me to be my Nini in here. Exactly. So
the moment
same with you.
The moment, when she goes, Macomborero, you're like,
I'm talking to my Nini.
Dang it. I thought I was going to get the friend.
Or sometimes I'll be like, because I get friends on, and then I'm like, I'm talking to the pastor's kid who grew up in Genesis and had lunch in Revelation. So he'll be like, but the word actually says Kambash. I'm like, okay. So it's like so many dynamics between us, right? Because it's really crazy.
I think that's what makes it so interesting, and maybe my encouragement to everyone who's watching and listening. Once again, if you're listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on any streaming service, please do make sure to leave a 5-star rating.
5.
That way more people get to hear about the podcast.
Of all ages.
Of all ages. You know what's interesting is I recently found out that I've got people who are like in their 50s watching and listening to the podcast, and I've got people who are in their teens watching and listening to the podcast. I thought that was so interesting.
Like the one that you did with your parents, I actually forwarded to my girls group.
Oh, really?
Because like they had such great parenting handles, right? And it's so weird to get such content in a Christian fashion, and I was like, guys, you need to and like it was like, oh, okay, that's a point. But so I'm there. I'm liking. I am subscribed. I am
sharing.
I'm
the whole
sharing
9
everything. The whole 9 yards. But so it's really great.
I mean, all that to say, like, I think one of the most interesting things is how, I think I myself have like I was saying, the whole community thing. Sorry, so the whole community chat is because community tends to say that people are old and younger. Ningi na ningi. Yes, kureme kids is important. Kureme kids are meaning like to
give
respect.
Give
respect, to honor. Maybe revere might be a strong one, but those kind of things. It's important. But one thing I've definitely learned is it's also important to see each other as people. And as humans. So it's easy to see you as Auntie Kudzi, the mom, the youth leader, but also you are Kudzai. You are also trying to figure out your way around things. And one of the best things that I've learned is that despite there being seniority, I think it's easy to fall into that you're senior or I'm older than you. Lighties don't know anything, kids don't know anything. But in reality, you can learn so much from so many people. And I think I used to think that way for the longest time, particularly during high school, because that's how your conditions.
That's how the high school structure
That's how
looks
high school
like.
structures looks like. That's how a lot of community in Zim
Yeah,
looks like.
yeah.
But it makes me so happy to see, and I think I saw it first with a lot of girls like my age or like the year groups below me, where I was like, oh, Ninge friends, but like they're 2 years apart. And I'm thinking, I'm not friends with the guys 2 years below me.
Because
but
it's
now,
sir, right?
Because it's sir,
Yeah.
and it's very much sir.
Yeah, yeah.
But for them, even though it's ma'am, it's more, they open the door to like relations.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think I myself had to learn, particularly like in the last year of high school and going into like post high school, where you'll now find like, yeah, I've got friends my age, but I've also got friends who are a couple of friends younger than me. I've got a couple of friends older than me.
Yeah.
And now, like, for example, you'll find I'm friends with people like Godfrey, who are a number of years older than me. Not like lots, but a number of years. You, because, you know, you've got people who are younger than you, also your friends. So you find that, like, I actually enjoy spending time. Yes, my brother, but also my brother's friends as well.
Yeah,
and I actually genuinely enjoy people like Udiwa, people like David, you know, Nyale, a number of them. And you're like, they're actually like
cool,
good people. Like, they're cool.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, it is. And then, you know, even like with the EPs, like, it's always good time with the youths,
always.
You know? Shout out to like Anna Tam, Anna Bash.
Oh, shame.
You
the
know,
girl, Khalees.
Khalees is one of my, that's my dog right there.
You see.
That's my actual, like, I consider her a friend.
I think it's just about opening yourself up, right?
Yeah.
To all possibilities.
Yeah.
Because I like, when we had the games night, I was like, I'm going to fill this place with...
So you know, right? Kudzai's got a very nice house, very comfortable, but it's comfortable for her and her 2 children and her husband, right?
It's cozy.
It's cozy. It's cozy. It's warm.
So, because I was like, oh, we've got all these YAs, young adults, you know.
So we like, a lot of the people who help out with youth are typically my age.
Yeah.
Just 25.
Yeah.
So the general range is like, let's say maybe 23, 24 to about 28, 29. Yeah, like, and I...
Okay.
And then I was like, they're female, and I know a lot of women don't like ages. They don't like their ages to be shared. Okay. But we get up to about 29.
Yeah.
Our brother God, he doesn't mind. He's 30. 29, 30, right? So that's but that's our the general age range, right? Which is a lot of young people, like young adults, if that makes sense.
And then like I'm like 39.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we're gonna have
a games
night.
But it was like, okay,
15.
you invite and your friend, right? We were like 15 to 20. In a cozy house. And the cozy.
It was like, there's a lot of people in here. A friend of mine was like, this feels like a club.
So the funny thing is, they had like friends who dropped by their house, like just to say hi.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you guys should stay, right? And they stayed. The funny thing is, so also young adults can be quite unruly, right? To an extent.
Yeah.
And so I remember when Kuda walked in with Yuri, all of us started going, what are we chanting? We're like, yeah!
Oh, dirty.
And then I remember she was just there like, I wish I had it on camera. She looked visibly shook. She was there like,
and she was like, are these all your friends? I was like, actually,
yeah.
But I mean, do you know what? I every time, like after that, like the conversation we had with Kambasha was like, you know what? You need to appreciate how rich your life is, right? I mean, like, we tend, again, because of the structures and Zim, we tend to box ourselves in the do's and the don'ts and stuff like that. But like, from whether it's the bridge kids who are like, hey auntie, how you doing? You know, I saw this on Instagram, what do you think? To like 10 p.m. conversations with you or Wazara or whatever, to then also the older people or people my age that I actually hang out with. It all feeds into this rich life that we have, you know. So every time we're like, should we move? We're like, but what do we do with all of this? Because it's so amazing. Yeah. It's so amazing. And it's such a blessing. It's like really cool. But you have to be open to it.
Yeah. I think the thing is easy to see people as Moana.
Yeah.
But if you see them as Moana, you will see them as Moana. And you miss out on what's good about being friends with that. And friendships look different, by the way. So just because, for example, you may be friend with like, let's say they finished youth and you guys had a good working relation with youth related things, and it can actually grow into a friendship. So, for example, with Pastor Gui, depending on who, Pastor Gui, maybe
Shout out. I was in the house yesterday.
Yeah.
And
But the thing is, like, being with him, I was a youth who he's my, personal pastor and everything, but I was a youth and he was Uncle Gui. But it evolved into, I was laughing last time I was at his house, which was maybe 2 weeks ago or something. And I was laughing and I was saying to him that, it's now weird because I don't know where I can even place you.
Yeah.
Because yes, you're Pastor Gui, but also you're Uncle Gui, but also you are Gui as in you are a friend, a brother.
Yeah.
You're also like a mentor,
a
personal pastor.
Maybe we should just stop boxing people, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, the boxes are okay and they make sense, but it's also knowing who's who when.
So,
for example, I got up, I was at his house and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go make food. I said it as a joke, right? Because I really just wanted water. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to go make food. And I just got up. And he goes, hey, Chikomana, come back. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh, I'm just getting water. Then he goes, yeah, that's fine. Sit down. When did you last bring groceries to this house? And I was like, So that was...
Who am I speaking to
but
now?
that, I knew he wasn't necessarily talking about groceries, so to say, but more about taking responsibility in a number of things, right? But that was more Pastor Gui / older brother-esque / mentor than friend. But also Kiki talking about Bola Gigi, that was more friend. So it works to have the hats, but also it works to be open. So I remember the one time he introduced me to some of his family members as introduced me to someone as, oh, you said this is my friend. And I was like, we're friends. Oh, friend. Oh. I was like,
I'm still to introduce you guys.
So it was one of those
crazy.
where it was interesting. So like now you'll find that I know his dad, I know his mom, I know his sisters, I know the brother-in-laws, I know the nephews and nieces and nieces, and it's still quite interesting because you've opened up to that side of life, and it's very much, and I think he's met my aunt. I think he's met my grandparents. He's met a number of the family, but it's out of openness. But you find that's what makes a relationship rich. Is you have to be open.
You have to be open.
And that's when people then say, how come my daughter doesn't want to be friends with me? Because you're not open to
the different caps that you can wear.
Exactly. And
in a relationship.
Have people know. So for example, I still know for a fact that Pastor Gui is Pastor Gui. I still know that he is my personal pastor, my mentor. But I still recognize that there's a friend element to it.
Definitely.
And how that friendship looks in different seasons is different. So I think
different conversations.
And different conversations. So for example, even with you, I know that we can talk about anything and everything, but I still also know that like it looks different in different places. Right. And I still know that I am, as much as I'm younger, I'm also my Nini's child. And, yes, they exactly. So I think that's what makes relationship rich.
It's amazing.
Being open.
It's really amazing. Like one of the
sorry to cut you off. But also if you're younger, I also encourage you to look for friends older. Not everyone who's older is wise. And it's not...
Wow.
I know it sounds harsh, but some people who are old and they seem like they know everything. Maybe they don't know as much as they think they do. So
and they don't want to admit it.
Exactly. Sometimes so it's also important for you. And sometimes people who you look up to, like they could be a good friend, you realize actually they're not. They're a good mentor, but not a good friend. And there's a difference.
That's actually a distinction, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone who's your mentor is your friend.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Exactly. So just because you're mentoring someone doesn't mean that person wants to be your friend. They want to be mentored. So it's also important to respect that. When you're young as well, I'll then say, be open to being friends with people who are older. Be open to knowing that being friends with people who are older is different to being friends with people who are younger.
Yeah.
So for example, and even small things like, for example, you may have school run, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, let's do lunch. You're like, actually, I can't do lunch on Fridays between 12 and 1 because
well done, because you know
because it's so you just know, like, if you want to do lunch on a Friday, if you're available on a Friday
after 2,
normally after 2 you can do school run. But it's easy if you're younger to feel like, oh no, they're just always available. No, their family's first. But also it's easy for you to feel like they're always available because maybe in your season in that time in life you're more available than they are. And also understanding, for example, Kuti, if they say to you, for example, I know with Kudzai, for the most part, you don't call it between 7 and 8:30.
Oh, shout out!
Because bedtime, we're doing homework, we're doing chi.
I'm knee deep in
And she's just like, yo, yo. But you also recognize that most of the time, if you call her at 9 and she's like, I'm tired, you're talking for like 15 minutes max. But also, because you're young, she may feed off your energy.
I know,
Next
like,
thing you know,
it's an hour.
it's 10. She's like, Marco, I've got work tomorrow. You're like, fine.
So mornings work well for us because everybody's
Mornings work well. But even evenings after 9, between 9 and half 9, if you call during that time, she's awake.
Yeah.
But it's also understanding those kind of things, that they're different
weird,
dynamics.
right?
Yeah, I think that's what I would then say.
It's fun. It's fun. I'm just like, be open, man.
Yeah.
Just only on this.
This and hearing about God from God. But yeah, I think I don't know. Do you have anything that you want to say in particular about?
No. I think, hey man, here's to the next couple of years.
Let's do this, man.
We're doing it. Thank you for just being there, right? You guys are just like really cool.
Your friends' children, take care of them like they're your own children.
Because
they really are your children.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like again, like probably closing thing is like when we thought about doing lock-in, right?
I mean, yay!
Shout out to lock-in, and it's a testament of the differences between us, right? Because like we wanted to do this event. Well, there was supposed to be an event, and then it was cancelled.
And the lock-in is essentially where I mean, if you grew up in a more traditional church, it's like an all night.
Yeah.
But the difference is it's an all night where you spend the whole night at church, you sleep at church, and then so essentially then you lock the gates,
so no one comes
so
in.
no one goes in or goes out. And as the adult leaders, we'll be quite a number of us, and we take care of the youth during the whole evening. We have different things going on, games, the word, praise and worship, whatever.
But it's taxing.
It is. Because you don't sleep. Because you as an adult can't afford to sleep.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
And the build up to it, right? Yeah. And it's just that whole thing that just like taking out different strings.
Year, how many did we have this
We had like, I counted 134.
I think we're 100. I think we're pushing close to 140.
Yeah.
And last year we had about 130 again, somewhere there.
But it like takes your heart, mind, soul, your body, everything, and we're like, okay, we're gonna.
We did the first. So with the first one, right? For context, the first one.
Yeah, context. Yeah.
Matt and I were like, let's do this,
and I was like,
she was like, no. Because we did a bunch of things.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know.
But she was just like, in fact, we're all oblivious to us going.
How bad it was gonna be.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Let's
go.
Halfway through
the evening, we're like, not even halfway through. An hour in, we're like,
what are we doing?
I think
Then we came out of the first lock-in and we're like, we're never doing this again. Never doing this again.
And then we did a big event in April. Yeah. And that event, who was saying, I doubt. You were like, okay, we're gonna do it, but you guys need to buy in completely.
Yeah.
So she's like, you and Matt need to buy in completely.
We work like that, right?
And usually you'll find there's one of the three of us who's like, and the other two are like, let's go. So this time around, she was like, we were like, let's go, and it worked out. It worked well.
Great.
Then came lock-in this year.
So we're like, okay.
Matt and I were like, Then for a change, she was on and was like, yay!
Let's go. And like, guys, we're doing this. Guys are doing... But it's that the synergy that goes beyond age, right? Where you bounce off each other, energy. When somebody's low, it's like, come on, let's do it. Yeah. Or when somebody's like on a high, okay, I'm going to carry the team. And so if, again, don't box yourself. You know? I'm so happy that I feed off you, and I'm happy to hear you feed off me, and we just keep, and then you sit back in the morning of a major event like that, or just in life, and you're
just like, okay, cool.
Okay, it happened, and you're like, what are we doing next year? Yeah. or something
What's the
like
next
that.
Event?
But also personally, after like an hour conversation, what are you doing? I'm driving to work. Okay, I'll call you when I get to work.
Put up my Netflix. Mira, I'll and then you go. Then after 10 seconds, you just holding. It's like, okay, I'm fast. Okay, Netflix is okay now.
But no, not with like hands free.
No, hands free.
Everything.
Bluetooth,
no, exactly.
It's legal. Don't worry.
But then you come out of these conversations or these events or everything that we do, and you're like, I'm such a better person because I know you.
Mm.
So
100%.
and it's like,
100%.
so shout out for
Yeah.
letting me into your life. I
Yeah.
mean,
No,
like,
shout out to you
yeah,
too,
right. I mean, we like it. We like it.
Yeah, no, it's
So
great.
like, subscribe. But, yeah.
I
But yeah, that's my parting shot. Probably.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I think the biggest thing is, like we said again, just be open.
Yeah.
You'll find that some of the relationships you have with older people are some of the best relationships, and with younger people as well. I mean, you look at people like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, where Warren Buffett is considerably older,
And they're homies.
but they literally do a lot of things together. They'll visit Ningi's business and Ningi do that. There are many examples of people who are old and younger in life and in society where it just gels. You'll find that toddlers tend to be best friends with their grandparents.
That's crazy,
and
right?
by best friends, I mean, like, they'll be like, I want to go to go.
Yeah.
I want to go do this.
I've heard that conversation.
And yes, the relationship is still go-go.
Yeah.
But it's because there's a friendly element
to it.
That relation. I've got a tete who I was in her neighborhood this week, and I called and I was like, hi, are you in Zim? Because she travels quite a bit.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And I literally drove by and I sat. I was like, look, I'm not here for long. We spoke about 15, 20 minutes. And I left. And I felt like, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
And she also feels like, wow, Ningi looks for me. So be willing to be friends with, yes, your relatives, but also people who are not your relatives who you've got a good relationship with. And also just be willing to know if it doesn't go well anymore, to be willing to be like, just because they're older, you don't have to be shy.
Everything is like seasons,
just like,
right?
Jack. And you find that
to the point where your mom comes in and says, "Which is my phone?" Or Tati is like,
happened.
"Are you still on the phone?"
Auntie Kudzai. Anyway, then they leave. But I mean, and it looks different in different seasons.
It does.
So you talk more in one season, you talk less in another season. You do more activities together in one season, less in another season.
Because now he's employed. He's too expensive to hang out.
I still call a lot, though, to be fair. I'm like, if I can't see you, I'm gonna call you.
We used to have lunch every Friday.
Every
single Friday. But now he has to earn a living. Those minor things. Fine. Do what you gotta do.
But look, we're here today. It's Saturday.
Maybe we should.
In case my boss is watching. It's a Saturday.
I was gonna shout out to your company.
No.
Maybe.
But
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. This has been Kudzai Kambasha. Who I've known since she was Hlasla to Kambasha, and before children to children.
And to we're gonna be there for post children.
Yeah, no, we
children
gotta,
are gonna move out and
it's like
Uncle Marco.
Go give them a talking to. They're wilding out. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you're listening, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
Please make sure to again leave a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
If you're watching, thank you so much for watching this episode. It's been one that I've been wanting to do for a bit of time now. And she's been wanting to be here for some
Mommy,
time.
I made it.
And so please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment.
Why are you asking me about my handle?
Don't worry, we're getting to you. Don't worry.
Okay, don't worry.
I know it. Because I send them memes all the time. My top are is number 1.
Yeah.
Then number 2 is I've got she's in my top 3 or 4.
I'm sure for me.
Definitely is top there. And so so please do make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe. You can follow at T_O Podcast on Instagram or on Facebook. You can follow me at Marco_Cads again on Instagram, and you can follow my Facebook if you want.
He doesn't look at it.
I do open it actually, but I use it for other things. I've never posted in years now, but I might start doing it soon. And please do share your socials.
I'm not sure what it is, but he'll put it.
Do you want me to share them?
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Kudzai Kambasha. It's very plain and simple, not difficult. Kudzai Kambasha.
But I am an Insta. I do like Instagram.
She does love listen. I didn't know it was I knew.
So she like 5 in the morning, I'm looking at your reels, and then Kuda's like, what? I'm like, it's a funny meme from Mark.
I'm sure he's tired of us. But I also Kuda's great, guys. Kuda's great. It's just a pity he couldn't make it today.
He's so patient with us, especially with the 3 of us and then the 20 other.
But thank you so much, guys.
Thank
and see you in the next episode.
Yay!
We'll be sure to bring more relationship content. This is episode 5. There are 3 more episodes relating to relationship. If you're enjoying it, please do make sure to let me know. So far, you guys are telling me that you absolutely love it.
It's absolutely.
You love the episode with my parents, with my brothers, with everyone else, and I really appreciate you guys.
Go back and watch them if you haven't watched them. They're 100%. Really good. They're really good.
Thank you.
They're very good.
And this has been the Middle of Podcast, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the
Nah.